Alright, not sure how I'm gonna record this video. I've already kind of tried to do it in the past 5 minutes like 3 times, but hopefully I'm able to just get it down. So I'm 17 years old. I make $5,000 a month, and I just wanted to make this video to feel a little bit better about my situation because I haven't made a video in a while. But basically, I'm in a huge rut right now. And it's probably one of the biggest ruts that I've been in probably since quarantine. Quarantine is like 2020, probably since about 8th grade, which is it's way long ago because I'm a senior now in high school. But in 8th grade, came out of quarantine just gaming every day, eating chips, no gym, no God, no structure. And I think that I was able to come out of that and into having one of the biggest progressions was between freshman my sophomore year of high school, was just coming from being able to discover running, and I got into cross country, and I was able to meet a lot of people who are kind of like-minded like me, and it was kind of less friction there as part of improving myself. But ever since, because I make $5,000 a month and I'm 17, how is that possible, you may be asking? That's because I do not attend school in person. As far as the record shows, I'm doing school online, and that's how I'm able to have so much time on my hands to be able to work and make this amount of money. However, because I'm not at school with, let's say, buddies from cross country, and even if I was at school, my cross country team split up because our coach's house burned down, and our new coach, nobody liked him, so we all split up. So there's really no one in cross country anymore because I'm not with those kind of people. It's become a bit harder to keep up with the lifestyle that I had, and that lifestyle was running every day and having something training for. And the reason why I think that it was good for me is because having purpose. I think having purpose is a very important key component into keeping a structured and disciplined life, is having something that you kind of ground yourself with, and running was that thing for me to ground myself with. Was to wake up early, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, go out to the track, do the workout, go on the mileage, whatever. Having a structured training plan, having something where you're working towards, and having that race, and having something like that, which is like purposeful, is very essential to something like that. And it all around helps you. Like athletics helps you with a lot. Like it helps you not only mentally, because whenever I wouldn't run, I would feel like drained, and just I wouldn't feel like myself. Like I had to run every morning because I was doing so much, And now, I just came out of COVID, so that's why I just came out of COVID. But even before then, like from these past couple months of me working, I have not been running too much. Yesterday, today I ran, but not been running too much. And I know it was a key component in my life, and I'm not saying that I need to run, essentially, but I think having something there, like for example, before it was rock climbing, running, gym, or something like that, to keep you there every single day, to ground you with exercise in the morning, is good. With the job that I work, because it's so kind of like labor intensive, and obviously it is exercise, and that's why I'm not like turning into like a fat bozo. I'm still staying lean because of that. But however, just having the discipline of like doing something where it's outside of work definitely helps you. And kind of what I wanted to make this video about is because I think that right now, because pretty much right now, my back, I'm in like a crazy rut, and I'm preparing to get out of it, and it's gonna be a really hard thing. But I guess in order to kind of describe to you how I'm kind of viewing things and where I am in my life and everything like that, I think that if I know that people watching this video, I don't know if anyone is, but because of the YouTube Shorts, I have gotten like some subscribers and some people who are watching me now. But if anyone's watching this video, or if it's just me watching it back, I think that it's very important to understand the concept of momentum, and momentum for like getting out of your rut. So there's something in the Bible called the Matthew Principle, which is I used to talk about this all the time, and it was the Matthew Principle. Basically talks about how to whom has everything, everything will be given, but to whom has nothing, nothing will be given. And Jordan Peterson talks about this in the 12 Rules of Life. And obviously, I'm quoting books, but this was back. I'm quoting books because this is knowledge that I had back when I used to read. I'm not reading anymore now because I'm working, and that's another thing that I should do. But continuing, this thing that Jordan Peterson was talking about, obviously, it sounds very pessimistic in that, you know, someone who is failing is more likely to fail more because of that momentum, but someone who is succeeding is going to succeed more, which is basically saying that once you have a little bit of momentum, once you start kind of get something going, it's so easily just to get the ball rolling, whatever. But it's also so easy once you know, kind of friction that a little bit with some, you know, let's say, what's it called? Relapse or something with whatever you're trying to, you know, not do, or whatever you're trying to do and you know, I guess don't do it. You know, then there's friction and you can get into a negative loop. So you want to be into a positive loop. And so basically what I'm in right now is it's so easy for me to be inside of this negative loop because I'm working every day. And it's just kind of a thing where I wake up, I work, I have fun at work, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like I come back and then, you know, can use my time to, like, I don't know, play a game with some friends or by myself, or basically a lot of my time I've been using just any downtime, which is pretty sad, is I've been just scrolling on YouTube Shorts, which the worst part of this is, which is like the reason, like I know, like thing is, I know what I need. You know what I mean? Like those things where people talk about like dopamine detox, all that. Like I went through that. I had that phase. You know, I went through that, and it's so cliche to talk about those things again. It annoys me, but I know it's what I need because it's something where when you fill any gap, any moment of time that you have free time, like when I'm working, or let's say like you're in the car, wherever, you know, you're waiting at the bus stop, or you're like in your room, wherever, if you're filling it with things, like you're trying to like fill your mind so where your mind is kind of never at peace. So like you're either working, and then when you're not working, like you're not like thinking about work or thinking about school, whatever. When you have your own any kind of downtime, free time, if you kind of cram it with social media and like YouTube Shorts, like the brain rot, basically, right? You cram it with that. It's super bad for your brain and your mind, so whatever it is, because it kind of causes that brain fog in which you can't really, you know, think anymore. In which like I have now, like I can see myself now. I don't know if it's because of my diet or because I'm watching so much of it, but I'm not able to remember things. Remember, you know, things when things happen, and it's definitely because I'm working a lot, but I'm not able to remember things as well and have a sharp mind as I did when I, you know, obviously was not, you know, watching any social media. There was a time where I literally had like 2 minutes screen time doing that kind of stuff. Obviously there was flaws in which I did that, but there was other flaws in my life at the time, so I guess there's a balance, and I hate that word too, but I think that in order to get out of this rut, what needs to happen is I need to figure out the kind of thing that I think that the most important thing, obviously if I was to give myself my own advice, I wouldn't say, because a lot of people who are like in ruts or anything like that, their main thing to do is like they fall back into this thing of like, okay, I need to lock in now. Like starting tomorrow, I'm gonna go on this 75 hard, blah blah blah, this and that, and it's like you see this all the time with people trying to do like New Year's resolutions. Like they want to have like a start date, or like they want to like, yeah, for New Year's I'm gonna. It's like, bro, it's the same thing over and over again. That's never gonna work. What it is like if you read one of my favorite books, which like I reread sometimes all the time, is the Way of the Superior Man by David Ida. And there's a chapter that talks about living just beyond your edge, and I think that's like the most important thing. It's not about dopamine detox, it's not about, you know, it's not about not being on your phone, whatever. It's living just beyond your edge. Because when you live just beyond your edge, just beyond your comfort zone, all that stuff doesn't matter because you're not going to do it anyway when you're living just beyond your edge. And what the chapter talks about how basically for a man's way of like the way that a man lives, a way that a man finds purpose is living just beyond his edge, just beyond his comfort zone, where it's kind of almost every day. It's you kind of have a little bit, a little bit of fear, right? And when you have that little bit of fear, it's and you're kind of like scared to do things, but you still do it just because you're scared. It's that right there, that little experience that like pushes you into a better person and pushes you into trying new things and excelling in whatever you want to do, which is why I think door-to-door sales definitely changed my life. Because when I was first doing it, I was doing it with someone with me, right? But when I was first doing it, door-to-door sales, the reason why I changed my life was because every door that I did, I kind of was scared. And every, time that I knocked and they'd open the door, you could kind of faintly hear the shakiness in my voice. I was trying to hide it, but I had a shakiness in my voice. I was nervous. I was all the time nervous doing these kind of things. And like even when I got comfortable in a certain thing of knocking on the door and talking to them at first, like later on in the sale of like getting nervous as I went on. It's like I just pushing myself to just go further, knock more doors, do more, right? And just being able to push yourself like that, I think that is this thing where it's like you kind of fall in love with that. Same thing with running. That's why that's why you need some kind of thing. It doesn't even have to be athletics. Whatever it is, as long as you're pushing yourself just beyond what you can do to the point where it's kind of scary, that like literally will improve your life and turn you into a different like kind of animal, to where you're now like you switch into you're now like you're locked in, like you actually like you want to do more because you're on like a momentum streak. And I think that having one, living just beyond your edge, and two, focusing on mental health. If you improve mental health, everything else will improve. It's not about the bad habits. It's not about getting rid of as many bad habits as possible or taking as many bad things out of your diet as possible. You have to look at the root cause of the problem, and the root cause of the problem is mental health. Hamza, who is like a self-improvement YouTuber who I watch, this is where I'm kind of like I learn a lot of information from, and some of the books I read is from him. Hamza talks about how basically the root cause of bad habits is bad mental health, because bad mental health, the reason why it leads to bad habits is like because when you have bad mental health, you kind of there's kind of a void and a gap missing in your life. Obviously, as if you're Christian, because I'm Christian, you believe that that gap is filled with God, and I think that that's a big part of it too. The reason, like when you have bad mental health, there's a big gap that you try to fill with some of your pleasure of choice. Like I don't know whether it's your junk food, like say for example your diet, right? Whatever kind of induces that dopamine, release, whatever it is. That's called. Like when people call it, they're like dopamine, they're saturated with their dopamine's fried, whatever it is. That's what they're doing is they're like choosing to junk food, they're choosing to pornography, they're choosing to video games, they're choosing to YouTube shorts, they're choosing to TikTok, whatever it is. They're trying to cram as much dopamine as possible because they feel so empty, because they're so bad mental health. And as a result, right, because they're trying to spike their dopamine, it the science of it is because the dopamine spikes, it drops lower every time that you kind of get a hit of dopamine. It drops lower, which is why if you've ever, I don't want to use this terminology, but if you've ever, if you've ever done that, right, afterwards, that's why you get that post-nut clarity, is because your dopamine spikes, and afterwards you get like a shot of like lowered, and that's why you feel so down. That's why like after you eat food, you may feel that way. After you play video games, you may feel that way because you try to spike your dopamine and it dropped, right? Which is why like that kind of artificial dopamine is not good. Which is why when you improve your mental health, right, you don't look for things to fill it with, right? You don't look for dopamine and all that to fill it with, because you already feel full. And when you have good mental health, if you discover how to do that, I guess that's something where I have to discover myself too. When you have better mental health, you're able to basically have a clear mind and kind of decide of the things like, you know what, I'm not going to do video games because I have good mental health, I'm kind of happy and I don't want to do video games, you know what, I want to go on a hike, whatever it is, right? And when you have good mental health, you see yourself starting to choose, instead of things that are going to pleasure you, you start choosing things where it's kind of challenging and it's kind of painful, right? And that's where I'm kind of, trying to talk about is the things that you do that are painful, right? They actually feel better, right? Which you take a cold shower, right? It feels painful, but afterwards is better, right? You do door-to-door sales, for example, right? It's painful, it's nerve-wracking, it's awkward, it's it's demotivating, it's um it's what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? It's belittling, door-to-door sales, it's whatever. But then when you get the sale, right? It's like, it's all worth it, right? You know what I mean? So it's like you have to endure that pain to go through that pleasure. In order to be in that mindset to endure the pain, like a lot of people, they're like I just really don't want, I just want to, like, whatever. That's how I feel right now, right? It's because my mental health is down, right? And when your mental health is down, you're like kind of lethargic, you're lazy. The only thing that you want to fulfill it with is things that are like dopaminergic, which is why you go towards those, pleasurable cravings, all those kinds of things, right? And like I can hear myself of the knowledge that I learned back then kind of coming to me now, which is why like I'm using all these terms. I studied a lot of like about how the mind works and the neurological pathways and those kinds of things. Listening to a lot of Andrew Huberman's podcasts and stuff like that, which is why I know a lot of those things, is because I got really interested in it a while ago. So I know how the science works. I know what I need to do, but I need to prepare in order to get out of this biggest rut that I've ever been in my life, because it's the perfect time, because now I guess we're in the winter, and so it's time for the winter arc or whatever. And so I think the thing what I have to do now is push myself just beyond my edge and improve my mental health, and that's pretty much all I have to do. And I think that everything's gonna fall into place, because there's a lot of things that are wrong with my life right now. School is one. I need to do school, behind in school. School is one, fitness is one, diet is one. And I think if I improve my mental health and I challenge myself every single day, like if I get that voice back in my head of what used to be there, of like where every time I went for the junk food, my voice was like, what if you didn't though? You know what I mean? Like, just what if instead you did that? And it's like, it was a challenge. I'm like, no, I'm do this. You know what I mean? Like that voice that was pushing you, you have to get that back in your head, instead of that, voice on the left shoulder that's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna eat this, whatever. And you're kind of mindless. You're just like going for the junk food. You're just like going for the video games. So you have to get rid of that, and I'm trying to get rid of that. And so that's what I want to do now. And like I think that a lot of people would tell me, I have friends, I have a friend who was telling me that, I'm going down like a wrong path and I need to come back to school and do whatever. And like I understand his perspective, like he's totally right about some things that he was telling me. But at the same time, I think that I'm in a way better position. If I fix my position that I am right now, I'd be in a way better spot, because the things that I kind of have planned out for my future and the things that I want to do align with the way that I'm going. And if I was to go back into in-person school, it would deeply affect me. It would worsen my situation. One, because I pay my mom rent every month, so I need to work. And it's not like I need to work because because I'm making $5,000 a month, and my expenses is $500 dollars a month, and then plus monthly expenses, whatever. So my expense is probably like $1,200 a month. Probably spend more than that, to be honest, but I don't need to, and I have enough money saved up to just go back to school and I'd be okay, and I just burn through whatever money that I have saved up. But I think that'd be useless, you know what I mean, because I wouldn't have anything to go back to. And I think that the way that I'm going now, if I was just to live better mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is, I'd be able to complete my school on time, develop a schedule, still work, still have time for dieting, meal prep, and all that kind of stuff, because I have time. Like today I had a full day, but a lot of it was wasted on YouTube Shorts, on Fortnite, you know what I mean, on those kinds of things. And I think that now it's time to kind of take responsibility, because I hear that left shoulder speaking to me every time I think like, okay, now I need to lock in. That shoulder is like, well, you're 17, you know what I mean? Like, you're thinking about Iman Ghanzi, you know what I mean? Like or Hamza, or all these people who are like the rich guys, those influencers, those gurus, right? They're like, they're 20 something, like even the guy who I work for, he's 23. He's a 23-year-old millionaire. You have time. He's this many years younger than you. He started this business a year ago, so you don't really need to lock in right now. It's like that kind of thing. It's like, bro, I need that to get out of my head, and I need to like fully lock in now. And I think that, obviously we're 20 minutes into this video, so no one's watching this point. But if I ever clip this up, to anyone who's watching out there, you need to take responsibility and take action like in the moment now. You need to take action fast, whether it's in business, whatever it is. You have to take action, but you have to take action as fast as possible. That's the most important thing, I think. Because if you sit around waiting, like there's someone, like people, I guess no one really thinks about this. I don't think about this myself too much, but there is someone out there working harder than you in the position you are. Like there's just 17-year-olds who make not five. Like if for me to say I'm 17, make $5,000 a month, a lot of people would be like, wow, that's a lot of money for 17 years old, right? That's more money than a lot of adults, and I have less expenses. But there's 15-year-olds making like 30 grand a month, uploading YouTube shorts and TikToks on like a bunch of platforms, and they get their ad revenue of like whatever, right? There's people making way more money than you, and there's people who live in more crazier lives and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's always something to do. There's always something to do better, and I need to take action now. And so that's what I need to do and figure out, is to improve my mental health and to start taking action. And so I'm gonna have to start thinking about that more, and kind of bringing more friction to the bad habits. So yeah, that's all really I have to say. Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna go to sleep now. My hair. Also, I don't know. I think this is the end of this video. But yeah, so I'm gonna start uploading more. I think that's another thing that was helping me, is when I was uploading to YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. Even though there was a lot of people who were hating, that was the funniest thing. When I was uploading YouTube Shorts, a lot of people were hating me. I'm sure he's cleaning his parents' windows, but in fact, I wasn't cleaning my parents' windows. And in the summer, I was able to make, just on my own, $3-4 grand in a month, just on my own, not even working with a company. Like imagine, like I make $5,000 on my own now, and I say that, and I'm not impressed with it at all, because I know, like, for me, like one day, soon when I'm 18 and I'm able to get my own truck and all these other things and whatever, right? When I'm soon one day, whatever, like when I'm able to actually grind to the level that I can like perform at now, like the level that I know, like, and I kind of know how this business works. It's gonna be way more than $5,000 a month, and I'm not impressed with that now. And if I can make $4,000 a month completely on my own, just door-to-door sales with a mop and a squeegee, imagine what I'll do with the knowledge I have now, especially with pressure washing and all that kind of stuff. So no, $5,000 a month is not impressive whatsoever. It's not impressive. Obviously, when I say that to anyone, if I saw it as an adult, they'd be like, don't be ungrateful, that's a lot of money that you're making, whatever. Yeah, $5,000 a month, it sounds like a lot, especially to some adults out there. And to most kids, having $5,000 a month, yeah, sounds like a lot, but I think that I can be making way more, especially if I'm focusing on money. And I'm not expecting to make more money right now. I don't need to, but I think that right now, if I'm able to build my base and focus on things that need to be focused on, which is improving the actual like mental health aspect of it, everything will fall into place. So yeah, guys, that's all I have to say.